Hey guys, it's time to find out, is Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness or in the multiverse of mehness? All right, so here we go. A big Marvel movie we've all been waiting for, the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2. And this has been built up as changing the Marvel Universe. It has been built up so much, after Spider-Man No Way Home and all the stuff and crazy multiverse stuff that happens in that, comes this film where everybody was anticipating all the cameos, all the world-changing stuff. And I'm here to tell you, you kind of get it. Without spoiling anything, and yes, this is a spoiler-free review. I will not tell you all the cameos that appear in this movie, including no, all that should be censored out because you guys don't need to get spoiled. But anyway, so let's start with the cast. I think, like I said, Benedict Cumberbatch is a great Doctor Strange. I liked him in everything he's been in the Marvel Universe. He's great in small doses. He's great as a lead. I just think, this movie in particular is a better showcase than the first Doctor Strange, if that makes any sense. I just think since he's been this character, he's a lot more, I don't know, I like where he's at now, and it's fun to see where he's going. Elizabeth Olsen obviously comes in as Wanda Maximoff again, aka the Scarlet Witch, and if you watched WandaVision, a lot of those events, play into this movie, so her story gets brought into here with all that drama. Then you got Benedict Wong again as Wong, who is great. We saw him last in Shang-Chi, and then you have a newcomer, I'm going to mispronounce her name probably, but Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez is a lot of fun. She's a nice addition to this Marvel universe, and she's a brand new character within the last, decade or two in the Marvel comics, and I think bringing her into this story is really interesting. She's got an interesting set of powers. She's got an interesting backstory, and I think she has a fun character journey in this. Now, I think that Miss Gomez has got a long way to go as an actress, but I think she does a lot of good stuff here. I just don't know if it was the material or if her acting's not strong enough yet. But what Marvel's really good at is they're like a Major League Baseball team who picks people up from the minor leagues and develops them. And they're gonna take all this talent who like I said, she was good. I'm not saying she was bad by any means, but I think I could see where she could develop into a great actress / character in this Marvel universe as things further progress. Of course, you got Rachel McAdams back in here as the love interest for Dr. Stephen Strange. And her character is Christine Palmer. That's right, from the first movie. And she had a bigger role than I actually anticipated in this movie. I was a little surprised because I like Rachel McAdams as an actress, but I just felt like her character in the first Doctor Strange served her purpose, and that was probably all we were ever going to see from her. And now in this movie, she's kind of a starting point for where Stephen Strange's character journey kind of goes through in this. But here's where one of my several complaints or problems with this movie is that I feel like this arc they want for Stephen Strange in this movie doesn't fully get realized where I think they thought it could or should have. And in the end, I don't think he really learns anything. If anything, he almost doubles down on who he kind of already is with maybe just slightly more reservation. I don't know. I think other people will interpret it differently. I took it like that. I don't really think he had any growth in the movie. I think it was just he was the same character from beginning to end with maybe just a tiny bit more of I'm a little more self-aware of what I am, and that was it. Which can be fine. I just don't think it was executed to the greatest effect. That's just me. And the other big issue I have with this movie is, the cameos are fun. The big cameos we get in the movie that everybody's been freaking out, are we going to see this person? Are we going to see this person? You see some really cool characters. I'm not going to lie. When they bring up the Illuminati, if you've seen the trailers, it's not spoiled. That's not a spoiler. The Illuminati, or a version of the Illuminati, is in this movie. And I'm not going to tell you the lineup I'm going to let you go find that out for yourself. But I think when they're brought in, they are wasted. I thought Marvel would at least bring in these characters to do something interesting and to add to the story. In this case, it was all style, no substance. It was, look at these characters we got, guys. Isn't this cool? And yeah, there were cool fan servicey moments. The theater I was at, they erupted at a few of those big cameos. And as they should, it was cool. It was fun. We were finally seeing some people on screen that we've kind of wanted to see on screen in the Marvel Universe. And I felt really let down because at the end of the movie, it meant nothing. It absolutely meant really nothing unless something happens down the line with Marvel, which is oftentimes the case, and they can come back to this idea and flesh it out more or show that it had a bigger purpose than in this movie. Then maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, it was a waste, and I'm kind of disappointed with that. But don't let that disappointment didn't really affect the whole movie. It's just that middle part, that second act of the movie, just definitely not as strong as the opening of the movie, which it just clipped. It is action scene, character, interesting setup, and it rips for about the first half hour, 45-ish minutes. It is just a whirlwind of just fun and awesomeness. And then the middle 45 is probably kind of meh, ho-hum. And then the last 30 to 40 minutes is pretty good as well. So, in the end picks up. And, I don't really talk about the directors a whole lot. I wish I did talk about the directors more when I review films. But Sam Raimi comes into this, and you can feel the Evil Dead vibes that he's brought to this movie. When people tell you it is part horror movie, they aren't lying. There is a portion of this movie which is just straight up Evil Dead horror, body horror stuff. And there were kids in my screening, and at first I was like, no, this ain't that bad. I've heard there was horror elements, but this is tame. This is nothing. But it got to a couple points where I'm glad I wasn't a parent with a kid. I was a little worried about my brother-in-law that I took. I'm really worried that might have scarred him for life, but that's neither here nor there. But they really did. They went to some places I was actually surprised they went to with the level of horror they were willing to bring into this, and they were inventive, and they were kind of also, referencing some of the Sam Raimi stuff. And, the way he shot some stuff, the way the horror was done was very much him, was very much Sam Raimi. And I appreciated it. And if you've never seen any of his Evil Dead stuff, I'd recommend maybe going back and giving it a check, checking it out. But man, you feel it here. And if you're a fan of Sam Raimi, I think, you see his fingerprints all over this. I know people get afraid that, Marvel, has so much control over the directors. Is it really the director's vision? And I think it's kind of give and take. I mean, filmmaking is a collaborative process. So I think that, Marvel Studios got what they wanted, and they also got to let Sam Raimi do what he wanted, which was infuse this awesome, fun horror element to things. And I think that aspect of it really worked. I'm not a big fan of some of the character finales in the movie, just in terms of how their stories wrap up in this. I'm really confused at where this whole universe is going. This isn't, letting your anticipation for a movie and all those thoughts you accumulate in your head, is this going to happen, or what should this movie be? You got to check all that at the door, because all the hype kind of going into this, this is going to change the, Marvel Universe, the multiverse is opened up, it's going to get crazy, and it might get crazy, but I think it wasn't as earth-shattering as I think people would have wanted, or, believed this was going to be, which is fine. It doesn't need to be earth-shattering. I do have a little concern that maybe Marvel is kind of in a rut. And when I say a rut, I just mean in terms of this big, long narrative, because they did it once before for 20-something movies, getting from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame. Great story arcs and just leading up to that ultimate finale there. And now here we are. They're kind of trying to do it again, but it just, as of right now, we're, 4 or 5 movies into phase 4 of Marvel, and we're not really getting a sense of maybe where this could be going. They're kind of throwing a lot of stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And that's all well and good. It's just, they got a lot going on. They got the TV shows going on too, and these movies, and just pointing us in a direction or giving us a taste of what maybe we're heading towards would be nice, but we'll see. I trust Marvel, And in the end, I'm going to give this film a B+. I actually really did enjoy this. Like I said, I liked it more than the first Doctor Strange. Is this going to change your life? I don't know, maybe. I think some people will be all about the cameos, will not have a problem with the cameos like I did. And that's all well and good, too. I think that, this is not for kids. I think parents beware taking your kids to see this or letting your kids see this, because it gets pretty violent. It gets pretty scary and horrific at times, even for a PG-13 Marvel movie. You have not seen anything like this in the terms of this universe, and that is both a cool thing and a not so cool thing if you're a parent. I think so. We'll see. Everybody, you're your own person, and you know your limitations or your kids' limitations, so proceed with caution. That's all I'm going to say there. So yeah, guys, I did dig Multiverse of Madness. It definitely didn't hit the high notes I thought it was going to hit, but it was still pretty good. I still had an enjoyable time. Apparently, it's really good in 3D. I saw this in IMAX, and I loved it in IMAX. It filled up that whole screen the entire time. It was presented in the IMAX format properly, so I think that presentation was stellar. I thought everything was gorgeous. It was great to look at. The costume designs, I want to throw out real quick, were really good. Especially seeing it in IMAX, you see some of those fine details on some of the suits, which was really cool to see. And so yeah, I keep hearing all this stuff about the 3D, and I haven't seen a 3D movie in years, so I don't know. I can't vouch for that, but I'm very curious to maybe check this film out again in 3D. And if you guys do, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys could also please hit me with a like, a subscribe, and the little bell notification so you can be notified whenever I come out with new videos. Would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, guys, that's it for Doctor Strange. I know it's been a couple weeks. I missed doing a Northman review, which I promised I'd do. A little late for that now. Sorry. It's just bad timing. I didn't get around to it. And if I can't get into, reviewing the movie about the week or weekend that it comes out, it's really hard to get back to it because I'm on to the next thing. And man, I don't even know what's coming out in the near future that'll be worth talking about. The next one I know of at the top of my head will be Top Gun Maverick at the end of the month. But I'm sure there'll be some stuff in between I'm going to go see. And that'll be the next time you guys see me. So until then, guys, I'll be seeing you.